that's short for Dominic. That is short for Dominic J. Coccaro. J is short for J. J-A-Y. I'm 36 years old. I've been a horror fan, sci-fi horror fan, since I was a fetus. Basically, since I was a fetus. I would say Son of Godzilla was my first real love as a monster fan. And I'm still a monster fan. That's my favorite type of horror movie. Anything with monsters, humans to me are very boring. I like slashers and things like that, but I'm more into monsters, especially kaiju, anything like that. Giant monsters. I think it's just escapism, I had a lot of problems with, like a lot of people have, but I had problems in my teens with depression, like really bad. And so, watching a film, especially one that tends to break the limits of reality, something that really takes advantage of the human imagination. I would watch that, and you leave Earth for a minute. When I watch a film, I want to go to a different realm of existence for 90 minutes or whatever. Like the vibe of something from 1958. It's a very unique feeling, watching something like Monster of Petrus Blancus. It's a weird vibe. And I really don't, honestly. I don't know why I always loved monster movies, or even movies in general. I don't know. There's just something there. Some people, they don't watch horror films because it scares them, or whatever they say. They're not as comfortable with the dark side of humanity as someone like me or you. I'm okay with it. I have memories of, for instance, when I was a kid, Freddy Krueger was I guess most kids have one. He was my ultimate boogeyman. Scared the shit out of me. I mean, nightmares for days. Of course, I still watch them though. I don't know why. There was something about it. I remember watching A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 when I was 6-ish, maybe. And I had fun with it. It was a fun movie. I liked watching it. I can't remember if I had Nightmare that night or not. New Nightmare, when that came out, I had to see that. Because I remember seeing the TV spot for New Nightmare at the middle of the night. At that point, I felt like, it seemed like they had stopped making Elm Street films at that point. I felt like I had survived Freddy. I beat him, he's not going to show up anymore. And then in the middle of the night, I'm in the living room, it's pitch black, and then I see the TV spot for New Nightmare, and it's the scene in the film where he's hiding in the closet. He jumps out and says, "Miss me?" He did that in the TV spot. I almost shit all over the place. I couldn't believe that. That my luck seeing that. Anyway, we rented that. I'm one of the black sheep in the family as far as liking this stuff. I'm not religious. My mom is religious. Her side of the family, pretty much they're all Southern Baptist, and I'm definitely not. So, they don't understand it at all. They just don't. Anytime I'd go to a video rental store, I would just stay in the horror section and look at all that stuff. I never went anywhere else in the video store. I would always, maybe sci-fi, I would check that out too. But it seemed natural, like, well, I guess I should start buying some of these so I can watch them at home, I guess I should do that. That way, instead of renting one, I can keep it. So I did that, and eventually before long I had like 50 or so tapes, and it just kept going and going and growing and growing. And as you do that, you become a fan, and you're like, hey, that's a cool poster, I'd love to have that on my wall. So you get posters, then maybe you get shirts. It really just snowballs from there. I remember, I believe it was a big box of some sort, probably Biohazard. I still love big box VHS. I wish I could just buy them all up. But probably one of those. And even then, that was it was around $30. You know, I can't really convince myself to spend too much more than that on a movie. I'm very cheap, just in general. I'm a cheap bastard. I'm honestly surprised I have this much shit in my room, because I'm cheap. I'm a cheapskate. I mean, a lot of the VHS, of course, you know, you can find those cheap every once in a while. Not as much now. I feel bad for the youngins today, because they'll never know the enjoyment of a video store. Man, growing up, it was a little more special seeing a movie, period. So going to a video store, maybe you'd go every weekend, I know I did, and you'd look around and you look at all the different video boxes, they all looked really cool, and you have to make a choice between one or two, but it was an event, it really was. Soda and popcorn and candy at the front, you made it a night. And even like a family night, that would be a family night. I really do feel bad for movie people now and growing up, because they'll never, even if they don't turn into movie geeks, growing up, that's part of, you know, being a kid is going to the video store, or at least it was for people my age, you know. My favorite horror film of all time is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I remember the first time I saw it, I didn't love it right off the bat. That was one of the early VHS purchases, by the way. And I didn't know what to expect, really. I thought it was just Leatherface by himself, like a Jason Voorhees type, running around killing people. I had no idea it was a whole family. It was just, it's a very chaotic film with a very chaotic, frenzied atmosphere. At the end of the film, I was like, what was that? But for some reason, I decided to watch it again, like the next day. And I just loved it after that. My favorite film of all time, genre notwithstanding, is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Actually, when I was a kid, I remember my cousin and I would watch it, and we would always fast forward like halfway. So we just started to when they go into the Wonka factory. Now I love the whole thing, though, the whole movie. This is the end of the video. It's playing now. This is the end. I have a website you can go to. It's you'll have to put it on the screen. It's rrincorporated.blogspot.com. Sorry that it's a very long and cumbersome URL, but that's what it is. And that's where I review movies and music and wrestling. I'm a big wrestling nerd as well. I'm a huge metalhead, so check out that stuff. Yeah.